I kind of personally feel like starting a new project like this is kind of the equivalent of taking your infant child, pushing them into the deep end of a pool, and hoping to God that they can swim.
Yes, it's basically just hoping for the best.
Yeah, because you and I pretty much for the last 3 years have only done the same thing. Like here and there, I've done YouTube videos and I've been on a couple podcasts and I've done a couple other things, but nothing to the extent of taking a break. Not taking a break necessarily from my main project, but kind of moving in a different direction and trying to find a different identity. Also trying to say that while my hair was slowly starting to creep into my mouth was a challenge in itself. a little podcast snack, so to speak. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, maybe go forward a couple episodes, because the first couple episodes, I think, of every podcast are a little weird.
Oh, most definitely, because we're still like on training wheels trying to figure out, hey, how the fuck does this work?
Or kind of like if you're pushing a cart and you see the wheels about to fall off and you take a screw and you just kind of just jam it in there and just pray for the best, kind of hope that it sticks.
Yeah. So circling back to how you and I have literally been doing the same thing for 3 years now, which is basically just streaming. Like, that's what our comfort zone is, and we're taking a chance and we're stepping out of that.
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
Something new, you know?
And it's not... Well, go ahead.
Nope.
Pardon our unprofessionalism, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus Christ. It's not necessarily that, you know, or at least for me, it's not that I'm getting tired of streaming, because for those of you that don't know, I stream on Twitch, and
Same.
We both came from another platform called Mixer, which shut down in, was it July?
Yeah, it was
July.
I think July. I want to say like 20 something.
Okay. So we both had kind of established communities on there, and I'm glad that they came over with us, and it's a good thing that we still have that, and that's why I still love streaming. I just don't like doing it as much as I did.
I agree. Like, I still love the aspect of like creating new relationships with people, and it's in real time. So you get to actually have a conversation and get to know the person, all while doing a game you really love, or anything really. Honestly, you can stream anything. It's not just games.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, now with the whole DMCA stuff, I know that you started out as or maybe you didn't start out as it, but I know that you classified yourself as a rhythm gamer or a rhythm game streamer.
Yeah.
Now, when you say like rhythm games, is that kind of like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, that sort of thing?
Yeah, basically. And there's like, I don't know if you heard of DJ Hero, but that was
a
banger back in the day.
Was it?
Yeah, I loved that game. It was so much fun to do, because there was a point in my life where I was just obsessed with DJs. I was like, I want to be a DJ, because my uncle is actually a DJ. Well, he was. And he would let me go into his studio and like look at all his mixers and all of his like little gadgets and shit. And I was like, wow, I really want to do this, because I've loved music all of my life, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever end up getting DJ equipment or ever learning how to DJ properly?
I did. I got one of these like MIDI controller, MIDI, sorry. Hello.
MIDI?
For the longest time, I always pronounced it like MIDI. Yeah, I got one of those controllers, and it had like the little turntables, and it had like the mixer in the middle and all that. And I remember trying to mix. Oh wow, that back in the day when I was obsessed with like EDM and like trying to mix those songs together, that was a whole time.
Did you ever get to perform in front of anybody as a DJ?
I wouldn't call this a performance, but I DJ'd my friend's birthday party.
Hey, I mean, when I first started playing drums in a band, we played at open mics. So,
Really?
Yeah, and we played at a couple. Not the band. I was in high school. I was part of two bands. I was part of a band called Frozen Sun. That's
a cute name.
It was pretty. It was a pretty cool band. I loved the guys that were in the band. And then I started. I was asked to join another band from a couple kids in my high school, and we were called Pearl's Motifs. I don't know if you ever read.
Oh my god!
I don't know if
That's an awesome name.
Yeah, I honestly really liked the name. I don't know if you ever read The Scarlet Letter in school.
I have not.
Okay, so for those of you that haven't read The Scarlet Letter, basically, I forget all of the characters in the book, but the main character was basically prosecuted for adultery. So she had to go around wearing the Scarlet A for adultery on her chest.
Oh my god, is that I'm gonna sound like such a fucking millennial. Easy A. Is that what that is about? You know that movie with oh my god, what's her name? She was in Spider-Man.
Easy
with Andrew Garfield.
Why did I want to say Emma Roberts? Emma Stone. Emma Stone. It was an Emma something. Emma Stone, Emma Roberts, Emma Watson. I don't know.
There's so many Emmas.
Here, I'm gonna drop this in our little Discord chat here. I'm gonna send you it should just show you oh, I guess not. Well, basically that was the logo for Pearl's Motifs. We only had like 3 gigs, and we were terrible, by the way, but we honestly should have been called Vacuum because we sucked.
Oh my God.
And there's 3 gigs that we played. We played one of our friends' grad parties. Oh no, we played 4. They were all grad parties. I don't know why I need to go through and name the people because it's really basically irrelevant. Except for my grad party. That was a good day.
That was a good day.
But I haven't played in a band in a while, and I miss it. And I would honestly love to hear you do a DJ set someday.
Dude, I honestly miss that because it was just so much fun to me because it's like you can bring 2 songs together and make it like completely new.
Do you still have your equipment?
I feel like it's somewhere in storage, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But like that's back in my hometown, and I'm like 3.5 hours away from that now. So it's kind of like, oh, no, I moved up with my family because my mom got a pretty sick job. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, we moved a little bit further.
You're living on cloud 9, basically.
Fuck yeah.
Even in the Pearl's Motifs Facebook page, it says we're a 5-piece cover band that does graduation parties for our friends. Yeah.
That's really pure.
If you go through, you can see pictures. And we have an Instagram, by the way, guys, at the Daydream Arcade. What I think we're going to do is when we reference things on this show, whether it's life stuff, whether it's music or movies or anything that we talk about, I think if we remember, as I go over to grab my notebook.
On the Instagram.
We will post it on the Instagram, writing in big letters, post references on Instagram. So both of us are going to be running different social media accounts, and for the longest time I was like, I don't want to start any other social media accounts. But then when we started this project, I was like, I can't wait to run so many social media accounts.
Me too. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna have so many.
Yeah, but watch us. Like, we have to, those of you that are already listening to the podcast, please don't let us forget things. Be as hard on us as you want to.
Hold our asses accountable.
Yes. Set our asses on fire, or put the flame to our asses, and hope that we remember to do things that we promise to do, because God knows in every project that I've done, I promise things and they don't get done, but this one is different. Man.
How I feel that in my soul.
How many promises what kind of like promises have you made to your community in the past that you just never held up to?
Honestly, I feel like my biggest issue with streaming is consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, I tend to get into these different mindsets that I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, and Like, is this something that I really want to do? Like, is this making me really happy? And then I think about it and I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, why am I doubting myself? You know?
Yeah. There are times when I've stepped away from streaming
Me too.
because
Many times.
yeah, trust me. It's gotten to the point now where I try not to even announce it. I just let it happen. But every time that I come back, people still show up to streams and it's fun. And
Yeah, that's something I'm super thankful about because every single time I take a break or just like step away for a bit, I'm terrified of coming back and just everyone being kind of over it and being like, okay, you take a fuck ton of breaks. I'm kind of done with this.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think we're lucky enough that, I mean, we're pretty small streamers, but I think we're lucky enough that, like I said before, we have that base community that we had from the other platform that, even over there, they were always understanding whenever we needed to take a break.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I feel bad for streamers that are really, that are bigger, that they feel like they can't take breaks because their livelihood depends on it. And in a lot of ways, it really does.
It does. I feel like that pressure is just something that I personally would not want to feel because I feel like even just being a small streamer and being like, oh my God, if I take this break, like people are going to hate me or I'm going to have nothing.
Yeah, but I think it's gotten to that point now where I don't even think that anymore. I'm just like, I'm going to take time for me and, people will understand because they generally do.
Yeah, it's important to take breaks and take some time for yourself because if you're just constantly hustling and constantly trying to do shit that you're not in the right mindset for, like it's going to show.
Yeah, and I see it on Twitter all the time. Like, not calling anybody out, of course, but I see a lot of people, post things, just saying that they're really burnt out, they're not inspired, they don't know what they want to do. Honestly, when I take a step back and I kind of make my stream schedule a little bit less, like stream less days, I feel like I can, number one, go longer on streams. People enjoy it more because I have all of my energy there. I'm not wiped out. Thankfully, my full-time job is not super stressful, so it's easy. It doesn't take a lot out of me mentally and emotionally. Mm-hmm. So when I do stream, I'm pretty much all there.
Good. That's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that people should... I don't know how to put this without kind of sounding like, I don't want people to be like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, this is my brand. Let me run it my way. Yeah, you absolutely should run it your way. But when you're really feeling burnt out, I don't think people should feel the pressure or the enormous amount of pressure to the point where it's kind of like I'm losing my fucking mind here trying to decide what I want to do. If I want to stream as much as I do because I'm afraid of losing the growth that I've had. Because trust me, like, it's cool to see your numbers go up. It is. But at the end of the day, you should be happy with who you should be happy with who you are enough to the point. What you've
already accomplished, not like constantly trying to one up yourself. And I know, like, as a creative, you are your biggest critic.
Mm-hmm, and, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's hard to know when to take a step back and be like, okay, I see what the issue is, and I should take a break, take a second to get my head all together, and just come back when I'm ready.
Absolutely. And I've seen over the course of the last few months, people leaving the streaming world in general because, I mean, of course, a lot of people on Mixer had large followings. And, I think at first it was kind of hard to really see where I was sitting when I first started streaming on Twitch because at the time, my mindset was, okay, so to go back to the quote unquote, and I hate this fucking word or this phrase, this ideology of the grind.
Oh man. Yeah, I try to not use that word ever because it's just no.
I don't want to make it sound like a taboo thing. Like, it's okay if you want to grind.
Yeah, like everybody has a different work ethic.
Work ethic. You should use that instead of grind, guys.
I agree.
Same thing with like saying I'm a content creator, but we'll get into that at another point. I don't want to dive into that right now.
That is a whole debate.
I could talk about that for hours. Anyways, what the fuck was I saying? For a while, it was hard to kind of see what my numbers really were because back on Mixer, we had a lot of inflated views due to auto hosts. Do you remember that?
Oh, that was such a fucking debate.
Yeah.
So many Mixer streamers.
Absolutely.
In general.
Yeah. So it like kind of gave us a false sense of where we are technically in terms of our viewership.
Yeah. And I feel like when we went to Twitch, it was a huge reality check. It's like, hey.
Yeah. You ain't the hot shit that you think you are.
No.
And, you know, some people had partnerships. People had sponsors and whatnot. I don't know if like they got dropped after they moved to Twitch.
A lot of companies started changing their partner requirements and all that, and like their requirements to stay partner and all of that, like after Mixer shut down, which was absolutely awful timing.
Absolutely. Like I saw the Discord changed their partner requirements. I don't know if I mean Twitch's partner requirements stay the same, I believe, but it's kind of heartbreaking in a way to see so many people that you've seen succeeding for years just kind of bow out. And I wish everybody the best. You know, if you are listening to this podcast right now and if you're one of the streamers that are struggling,
we're 100% with you.
Yeah, we're 100% with you.
We get it. I started streaming solely for the fact to make people happy or just give them a place where they can go to and feel safe and accepted and just get away from all the negativity that they want. Kind of what we're doing with this podcast.
Absolutely. Mystery voice, would you like to introduce yourself?
Mystery voice. Oh, wow. Hi, I'm Brianna.
Is it Brianna or Brianna? Have I been pronouncing your name wrong this entire time?
Honestly, so many people say it either Brianna or Brianna. My mom says Brianna, I say Brianna, but I really don't have a preference.
Well, then, I guess we have to go back and re-edit everything that has your name in it. That's where I've said your name. I've been saying Brianna my entire life because I've never heard anybody pronounce it Brianna.
Really?
Brianna Banana? I don't know.
Brianna Banana.
Brianna Banana. You want to rebrand your Twitch to Brianna. I'm already doing it. What might people know you from?
Well, I streamed on the good old Mixer under Certicate, and I am streaming on Twitch under Certicate. So, you know.
Beautiful. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Darryl, and you might know me, once again, from Mixer, as Young Retro. But now on Twitch, I have rebranded to Young Retro 64, only because the Young Retro account on Twitch is currently not being used, but it is an account, and I am not a partner on Twitch, so therefore I do not have any say whatsoever about my likeness on their site.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. But like this podcast, if we haven't already made it clear, is kind of, you know, this year, you know, for a lack of a better term, sucks dick.
Oh, yeah.
I had this idea to start a new project, but I didn't really know if anybody would be down to start it with me because I don't know if you've ever tried to do a 2-person project or, God forbid, multiple people. It is hard to get people to commit to things.
It is. It totally is.
It is incredibly hard to get people to, you know, be, number one, work together really well and be on the same page. Yeah. I remember when I brought up the idea of the podcast to you, I when I was typing it out, it was kind of funny because I was explaining to Brianna what I wanted the podcast to be, general outline and whatnot. And when I was typing it out, I kept wanting to say we. And I kept having to delete things and going back and saying my co-host and I. And I eventually ended up just being like, do you want to be my guest?
Honestly, yeah. Like, when you were talking about it, I had the same thing in mind because I was like, man, a podcast would be fucking dope.
Yes.
To start.
And also, like, not my guest, my co-host.
Yeah, no, I get what you meant. So I even wanted to bring it up like, hey, I would love to be your co-host if you would have me. But I was just so shy. And I was like, oh, like, what if he already has somebody? Like, he has somebody in mind? Like, so many different factors. But then when you said, like, can I be frank with you? I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it was more like a dad joke thing. I was like, can I be frank with you? And you're like, no, you can be Darryl.
No, you can be Darryl.
And that solidified it, ladies and gentlemen. That's when I knew right then and there that I had the right candidate in mind. It's funny that you say that you were shy because I was also really shy about asking you. I was kind of like, I get into these mindsets where I'm just like, you're bothering everybody. Don't. Everybody fucking hates you.
I totally get that. I'm like, oh my God, my anxiety. Like, oh, fuck.
Fuck anxiety 2020.
Dude, fuck anxiety. Is trash.
Yeah, if you could chart my anxiety levels over the last 10 years in like a graph form, 2020 is kind of like coloring outside of the lines.
It's like outside of the lines and then like 10 feet above it.
Absolutely.
Just all of it.
Ugh. So not only do we want this podcast to be for us as a distraction from all of the stress that's accumulated throughout this year, we want it to be for you guys as well, those of you that are listening to the podcast. And
most definitely.
We're going to be posting on our social media account at Daydream Arcade. You can find us on Twitter, and we also have a Gmail account. You guys can email us, you guys can tweet at us or message us. We're going to be posting weekly questions for the podcast. Each one's going to have a specific category. We're not going to ask a bunch of questions, probably just one.
Yeah.
And see.
And even if it's like not related to a question, you guys can just send in advice that you need.
Absolutely.
You know? By no means are we professional anything.
No.
And can give like solid advice, but we will try our hardest.
We're not even professional podcasters.
No, not even slightly.
I'm not even a professional person. I don't consider myself to be a professional at anything, but honestly, I think sometimes it's just really good to let your voice be heard.
Yeah, and it's good to have like different perspectives on things.
Absolutely.
So you can see things clearly.
Yeah.
You know?
And obviously, we don't want to pressure anybody into, participating. You don't necessarily have to.
Oh, no. Not at all.
But
if you want to just chill and listen, hell yeah.
Absolutely. But just know that's there, and that's something that we're going to be doing in the future. And we're also going to be working extra hard to work on more segments for you guys as the weeks go by. And also, like I said, if this is your very first episode, it might be a little rocky, but stick it out. Watch our progress.
Stick it out.
Yeah, stick it out. Be a tough guy or gal. Or
we had to go through it. You do too.
Oh yeah, trust me, we're going through it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. We take you live now via satellite feed to the White House, where a commotion is taking place.
Sir, it's time to go. Come on, I know you're having fun, but it's time to go. Come on, let's go. Come on, drop the ball, give the ball to someone else.
I wanted to say something. I am incredibly proud of our country this week.
I really am too.
Out of every shitty thing that has happened this year, and I also want to say we're not always going to get political on this show.
No. I just feel like we definitely should bring this up now.
Absolutely.
Because
get it out of the way.
So much has happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it out of the way. Honestly, I was so stressed out this week.
I'm not losing my rights today.
Nope, absolutely not. It's so scary when you are faced with an election and basically all of your rights are being threatened.
Dude, absolutely terrifying. It's like when he was first elected president. He immediately took off the LGBTQ like resources off of the White House website. And I was like, oh, awesome. So this is how it's going to go.
This is what the next 4 years is going to look like. So I have some screenshots here of some of the tweets that our president has been tweeting, some comments related to them. I don't know if first off, I don't know if you saw some of the comments on his tweets, some of the bots that were responding, like they're all gone now, but they were like pictures of like creepypastas and in some sort of like
I think it was in Arabic. They're all gone now, but there's still some that are just lurking around. Like, for example, let me see. I'm pulling up Twitter as we speak right now. I'm trying to find one. I don't know if you've seen these. I've been a U.S. citizen for 40 years, and in all my time of being one, I have never seen an election this rigged. I've had enough of, Donald J. Trump has been robbed. I'll be packing my bags to England where they actually know how to run a country. My kids are scared of Biden. Bye. I've had enough of,
It's like you don't expect it to be there, so you skip over the comma and you just read the rest of the sentence wrong because punctuation matters. I don't know if you guys knew this, ladies and gentlemen.
Quick grammar lesson. Punctuation, please.
But I think my favorite one that I saw, I grabbed a screenshot of it before it was gone. It was, I'm going to read it as if, see, I don't know if this is a bot or not, but I'm going to read it as if this was an actual person. This is what I think that they would sound like.
Okay.
Recount! Our beloved Trump is the answer. Biden has tricked y'all. I'm booking my flights to Peru or Mexico later. I'm angry. The future of my kids is in jeopardy. They've been without food for hours. I'm disappointment.
What?
Biden is a recipe for disaster. No, these kids! Let me reread that last...
What does Biden have to do with
Not only does it say that they've been without food for hours, it says they've been without food for hours. I'm disappointment.
Oh my god. I feel like I just lose brain cells every time I see a Trump supporter reply.
You ever see those
anything.
videos of somebody interviewing a Trump supporter? It's like, what are you gonna do if he loses? And they just have this like dumbfounded look on their face, just like, what are you talking about?
God. What are you talking? Losing? That's not possible.
Also, if you go to Donald Trump's Twitter, all of his tweets, like he'll tweet something and immediately under it says, this claim about election fraud is disputed. This claim about election fraud is disputed. This claim about election fraud is disputed.
Twitter was not playing around. They're like, just please stop.
Official sources may not have called the race when this was tweeted. Oh man. And also there's a whole thread of his tweets on November 7th that say some or all the content shared in this tweet is disputed and might be misleading about an election or other civic process. And I remember he retweeted it one time and he was just like, what is this supposed to mean? Like, you're being censored, my guy.
What is this all about? Oh my god. I don't think he's ever really used the POTUS Twitter. He just uses his personal.
Oh yeah. Wait, hang on. Let me look at the POTUS Twitter. Sorry, I know I said we weren't turning this into a political podcast, but I contradict myself all the fucking time. So here we go. Oh my god. Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. I saw something. I thought it was actually Trump getting punched in the face.
Oh my god.
But, at the beginning of the year, or the end, or at the beginning of next year, or at the end of this year, we can look back on 2020 and be like, yeah, this was a shitty year, but you know what? There was a silver lining at the end.
There was. And by no means is everything gonna change in the matter, of minutes. Because there is so much that we need to fix in this country.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I feel like it's a good step forward. I feel like we're just gonna pee. Wow.
We're gonna pee.
I feel like we're just gonna pee, to be honest.
2021, the year of pee.
Yeah, I feel like we're just gonna be put on pause for a little bit and just kind of collect ourselves.
Yeah.
And then maybe take a little step forward.
Yeah. And speaking of taking steps forward, can we quickly talk about Kamala Harris, the very first woman to be vice president of the United States?
And a person of color.
And a person of color.
And I feel like it's gives a lot of little girls hope.
Absolutely.
They can grow up and do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Absolutely. You want to be vice president? Go for it. You want to be a fucking ninja assassin? Fucking go for it.
Do it.
Do it. But, of course, yesterday was a big victory for the United States. But today, I don't know if you saw the news about Alex Trebek.
Yeah, that broke my heart.
I
loved Jeopardy.
Yeah, I grew up watching Jeopardy a lot. Mm-hmm. And at my last job on our breaks, we used to go down to the break room and watch Jeopardy. And we used to see who could answer the most questions. And then I was hooked on Jeopardy. I used to go home, and on my days off, I would watch Jeopardy. Not to bring the mood of the podcast down or anything. Actually, I know a way to bring the mood back up. Did you ever hear the story about when Alex Trebek tore his ACL stopping a robber?
No.
He chased down this woman who stole things from, I think it was his own hotel room. He chased her through like a hotel hallway and like fucking tackled her, took her down, and in the process tore his ACL and had to get surgery, but was on Jeopardy like the next day.
What a fucking trooper.
What a fucking champion. Alex Trebek, you will be missed. I love Jeopardy. I don't know if they're going to get somebody to replace him. I think he's one of those game show hosts that's irreplaceable.
Yeah,
absolutely 100%. But if they do get somebody else to replace him, I mean, like right now, I think that we shouldn't be worried about that. We should kind of just like celebrate the fact that he, number one, had a wonderful life, and also he brought so much joy to a lot of people.
He did.
And also, fuck cancer while we're at it.
Fuck cancer. And speaking of bringing the podcast back up, why don't we get into our next little segment? So it's called What's Got You High? Basically, we talk about what is our best moments for the past week and what has made us just happy. So, Daryl.
Yes.
What's got you high?
What's got me high is for the last couple weeks, I haven't really seen my family that much. I've just been very busy. But yesterday, went to go visit my family during the day. Got a little haircut from my older brother. And I got to see Ellie. And she was the first one that greeted me. I pulled up to the house. She doesn't do this very often. But as I was pulling up, the front of my parents' house has this little bump out window into the living room, and the curtains were closed. It was kind of early. It was like around like 8 in the morning or something like that. I pull in, nobody's really home. And then I see like the curtains kind of move. And then as soon as I park the car, I look up. Ellie is like perched up in the window, just looking, just like licking the window and like pressing her nose against the window, just like, and I see her tail wagging. And then I go to I get out of my car, I go to the door, and I just hear her run and kind of like slip and like slide. Like I hear her nails like on the thing, and I open the door, and then she doesn't do this like ever because my parents trained her to not jump. She jumped up on me.
My God, that's how you know she missed you.
Yeah, I love that dog so much. She's
adorable.
I would die for that dog.
I feel the same way for my cat.
I'm gonna post pictures. I'm gonna unapologetically post pictures of Ellie from time to time on our social media.
Oh my God, yes.
And some of you have probably seen the photos before. I don't give a fuck. My favorite photo of her is the one, I'm sure you've seen it plenty of times. It's the one of her at the beach with the sand on her nose.
Aww.
I took that with my Canon XA20 that I use for my main camera on stream, and that one vacation, I wish I could go back to that because I miss vacations.
Yeah.
I'm not so much. I mean, like I've had vacations since then, but it's kind of like staycations because you can't really go anywhere. But we went to Cape Cod during the summer. It was like 2019, and that was where that picture was from. I took a lot of photos of her that day, and thankfully she's only 3 years old, so I've plenty of more years with her, hopefully.
Aw, Little puppy.
Yeah. Brianna, what's got you high?
So my uncle, his wife, and their 2 little boys, they came to visit because they went to Disney. And they went to go visit some friends that were like getting engaged and all that fun stuff. So they have their littlest boy. He's 1.
Aw.
Yeah, he's a fucking angel. He got to stay the night while they were in a hotel. So he stayed the night here. And I feel like him and I really bonded this time because I remember we were all in my grandmother's room and we were trying to put him to bed. And it was like 11 p.m. already. So we were like, kid, please go to sleep. So he kept like reaching over to me as in like wanting me to pick him up.
Aw.
Yeah, it was adorable. And like I think the first time he did it, my heart just like swelled. And I was like, you are the purest form of like love right now. You know?
Yeah.
So it just felt really nice to have like that connection with him. Cause something personal about me, I don't really want kids.
I was actually about to segue into asking you if you want kids.
Yeah, I've never really had that just need to have kids, but I will be the coolest aunt. I will be the coolest cousin. I will be anything else but a mother.
Is it like, and I don't mean to like generalize or whatever, but is it the fact that you just don't want to be a mother, period, or you wouldn't want to go through the pain of delivering a child?
Kind of both. I just feel like I don't want to bring the mood down to bring like
please bring the mood down.
Okay, so personally for me, I feel like I wouldn't be that great of a mother. Like, of course, I would love the fuck out of my kid, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't have that motherly instinct to me, and I don't ever want my child to feel a certain way or just like feel upset. If you get what I mean.
I get what you mean. I think that's a very responsible, very mature answer because, you know, you see a lot of, I mean, like, I'm not downplaying the difficulties of being a mother or being a parent in general.
Oh,
but
yeah, it's a full-time job.
Absolutely. You basically sacrifice 2 decades of your life.
Like, my God, I was a fucking hell spawn of a child. And I'm, like, so thankful that my parents are 2 such incredible people that I literally look up to. And, like, I don't even know how to thank them for everything that they've done for me, you know?
Maybe just say thank you.
Maybe just say thank you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. So, when I was a little kid, I think I was pretty decent. I was kind of annoying, but I mean, I wasn't
I think a lot of little kids are annoying.
Yeah.
Trust me, I work at a school. I think I messaged you this morning on Discord about how I was like, I'm really excited to record the podcast today. First episode, let's do it. Also, I'm going to go to the store, but first, there are kids out front yelling, and it sounds like they're being stabbed. They were screaming, Brianna. I'm telling you, I have never heard children scream like this before.
Just screaming fucking bloody murder.
My woke me
baby
up.
cousin was doing that too.
Ugh. There's nothing more blood curdling than hearing a child scream bloody murder.
God. Cause they hit that like specific pitch and it just like
afterwards
like, makes you like
yeah, you sit down and you hear ringing in your ears for minutes.
God. Hate it.
So yeah, you were a devil child at some point. And I should also say, don't feel bad because I was too, and I'll explain in a sec when you're done.
I think when I hit like 13, I started rebelling a little bit.
And that's understandable. You were a teenager. I think we all rebelled as teenagers.
Oh yeah. So, but with my thing, I just started not giving a fuck about school at all. Like, I would not do work. I would ask to miss a lot just because I hated going. And it eventually caught up to me because when I was in high school, in sophomore year, my grades were just really bad. So they were at the point where I didn't even get enough credits to finish freshman year. So they were like, hey, you're kind of behind. So we're going to send you to this alternative school.
Oh, no.
Where you do online school. And then when you catch up, you can come back. And I was like, huh. And keep in mind, I hated my high school. I hated it. Oh my God. I felt so out of place in that school because I feel like it was very like preppy and a whole bunch of like white kids and just like they're whatever and like they're rich and they're blah blah blah.
Oh, it was that breed of white kid.
Yes, it was that breed of white people.
And you are not that breed of white people.
No, the furthest from it. They were just so like self-centered and so like judgmental.
Ugh.
And me being a little short Cuban Venezuelan coming to realize that I'm gay in high school. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'm like, oh my God, like this is the worst place possible to be right now. So when they did tell me like, you're going to go to this alternative school, I was kind of like, okay, like that's fine. I don't want to be here. So then I went to that school and I actually made some pretty awesome friends that I like genuinely related to and they related to me and like we just had like this bond pretty much that we were in the same boat because we both fucked up in school. We're both like fucked up in the head a little bit and we're just trying to get through, you know?
Yeah. So you said this was like you did the work online.
Yeah.
But you went there in person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I went to, I don't even know what to call it. It's kind of like an annex. So it was a whole bunch of like portables. And I went to a specific one. I always went to the same one. And it was like on one side of the wall, there was like tables and a whole bunch of computers. And in the back, another table with a whole bunch of computers. And on the other side, table, whole bunch of computers. And then in the front would be like the quote unquote teacher, which basically she just like
made sure you were doing your work.
Help with something. Yeah. Like just made sure we were doing shit.
Yeah. So
the whole time I was in that school, I finished 1 credit. And I was like, yeah, this is it.
What was the class?
Oh my God, I think it was history.
Oh, I love history.
Yeah, I'm all right with history. It was decent. Math, kill me.
Oh, I'm awful at math. You might take one look at me and just be like, hey, he's Asian, he's good at math. I was awful at math. I'm still awful at math.
Dude, I never passed algebra.
Algebra for me was pretty easy, but when I got into trigonometry and stuff, I kind of went into this like, when the fuck am I ever going to need to use this in life kind of attitude.
Yeah, dude. Like, especially, and like geometry and shit. I'm like, what? When am I going to have to use this?
I had the craziest geometry teacher ever. I swear she was on crack.
My geometry teacher was also the football coach.
Oh, multi-talented,
I was
see.
like, what? But it was funny because he was a pretty good teacher. Like, he was very lenient, but also like strict when you need to be. But he was cool. Like, I liked him.
I had this math teacher. I'm not going to say his real name, but it rhymed with Britterly. And
okay.
He was this big, kind of like muscular, bald head. Kind of tried to be funny. Like, I remember the first day, he was doing a problem up at the board, and then he knocked on the chalkboard, and he was like, come in. And then all of us collectively turned our heads to the doors because, gullible, like, preteens. And he's like, gotcha. But there were times when he was a real dick. I remember one time I was having trouble with a problem, and he kept trying to break it down for me. And he straight up, like, in the middle of class was just like, Darryl, I don't understand what your issue is with this problem. You're getting tutored. You're staying after school for help.
Oh my God.
I don't understand what you aren't understanding about this. So once again, what is like he was like, what is the answer? What do you do here? And I like almost broke down in tears.
I would have passed away right in that moment.
Middle of class. Oh, I felt my soul. I felt my soul die. Actually, I think that's where my soul actually died, on that day. Looking back on it now, I think that's when it happened.
I don't blame you at all, because that's pretty fucked up.
But yeah, back to your back to the online classes.
So when I was like 15, 16 there, and then that was when I started smoking the marijuana. So I started smoking with my friends because they had already they smoked, like they knew what was up.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like it was little me being a newbie. Before I was like, oh, I'm never gonna smoke that devil's lettuce.
I was the same way because
yeah,
I grew up.
I was always super against it.
I grew up in a really strict Catholic family, and went to church every Sunday. Loved my Jesus. Went to a couple Jesus camps. Went on plenty of retreats. And why am I talking like that? Anyway, I also was like, I'm never gonna smoke weed. And there were several times when I've hung out with friends like throughout high school, and I was offered weed, and I was like, no thanks. I was never the type of person that was just like, that stuff's bad for you. I was always just like, nah, I'm good. Thanks.
Honestly, I was that bitch.
Really?
That was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're smoking that right now. Like, I stopped being a friend with someone because they were smoking.
Oh.
And then later on in life, I was like, hey. So.
That's hilarious.
It was fucked up. And my best friend now, she tends to bring it up a lot because I would give her shit when she would smoke. Yes. Okay. Because she smoked before I did. So she was like super with it, super hip, super into it. And I was always like, you know that stuff's bad for you.
It kills all your brain cells.
And she brings it up a lot. She was like, hey, remember when you like shat on me because I smoked?
Oh my God.
It's like we're in the middle of a smoking session and I'm like,
innocence. Childhood innocence.
Innocence, man. I remember, fun fact, if you want to know when I got caught by my parents, my dumbass ordered a bong online. And
did it not ship discreetly?
It did. Oh. It did, but I wasn't home. So I was at, I think, a hotel because it was my friend's birthday and we were all celebrating there. And I had ordered a bong. It arrived to my house. It was like 7, 8 p.m. And we were all high as fuck. Just
as you do.
Absolutely vibing. Yeah. Just celebrating her birthday. And I get a call from my mom.
No.
And I'm like, oh, like, I wonder what she needs. So I answer. And she was like, hey, so I need to ask you something. And I was like, okay. She's like, what is this that we just got in the mail? And I was like, What do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? What did you get? And she's like, I know you did not just order a bong and send it to our house. And I was like,
you feel your heart drop? Feel like your life was over?
Oh. And then, so me trying to be just quick on my feet, I'm like, oh, that was a birthday present. It's not mine. And she was like, a birthday present. Ugh. And I was like, yeah.
That's the worst when you try and like play something off to your parents and their only response is,
Yeah, like she could see through that shit. But I think at one point they believed me and they were like, so they were trying to get me to go home like right that minute. And I was like, no, like it's her birthday. We're celebrating. Like I can't just leave, blah, blah, blah. And then my dad was like, you better get home right in the morning. And then they hung up.
Oh, man.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to die when I get home.
Oh, my God. It's so weird because those of you who partake in the greenery, if you've ever been caught I'm sure right now you're listening along to this just as I am listening to Brianna talk about it, and you're kind of put in that situation yourself, and you can kind of remember the time when you got caught, because I remember the time I got caught. It hurts my soul.
Every time I think about it, I'm like, damn, I did that, huh?
So if you guys have any particular story where you got caught smoking weed, it doesn't have to be with your parents. It could be with a cop or something like that. But
I have had many run-ins with the police, unfortunately.
I've had a couple run-ins with the police as well. But if you guys have had any interactions with your parents, the police, or any story where you got caught smoking weed, God forbid it was in school, let us know.
Oh, no.
Send us an email. What's our email, by the way?
It's the daydreamarcade@gmail.com.
Okay, you guys can send it there. You guys can say it anonymously. You can leave your name. Also, by the way, in the future, if you guys do send us emails with questions or advice, please send us your pronouns.
Yes.
We don't want to mislabel your gender or lack thereof.
Not at all.
So, when I got caught, I think I was like 20 years old. I was getting into finding ways to smoke around like my house and whatnot, because at first I would have to drive out in different places, but then that ended up getting sketchy because, you know, when you first start smoking, you get that that first taste of that sweet paranoia.
Oh, I love
everywhere you go. And
yeah.
I was kind of getting tired of that, so my dumb ass decided the best way to do it would be smoke in my parents' house. And so I started getting things like, I started using, do you know what a sploof is?
Yes.
Okay, I started using a sploof. Didn't really feel comfortable doing that because I had a bowl, so it's like I would like light up, but like the smoke would still be coming out of the bowl, so you could still smell it. So I'm just like, that's not really gonna work. And then I got this thing called a Hello Neighbor. I don't know if anybody knows what those are, if anyone's ever used it. It looks like a thing of chapstick, but it comes on a little necklace, and you pop it open, and then you blow into the end of it, the smoke, and it comes out, and it smells like flowers or cherries or whatever.
So it's
flavor.
It's kind of like a smoke buddy.
Yeah. I've never used a smoke buddy, but I've heard they work pretty well.
Yeah.
And then I started using incense, which is when my parents started coming into my room being like, what does that smell? And I'm like, oh, it's just incense. Like, what are you using incense for? I'm like, I meditate.
I'm just super spiritual, Mom.
Yeah, get out of my room. You're throwing your what is it?
I need to align my chakras.
I need to align my chakras. Yeah. I'm charging my crystals. Get out of here.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I think they saw through my shit. I was definitely not meditating. But I remember one time I took the day off of work, and I ended up going to the mall. I smoked a little bit beforehand because no one was home.
Yeah. And
I got home, and I think my sister smelled it. She was like, I smelled like a skunk. Like when I got home, it's like all the windows were open. This was like in the middle of the summer, so she's like, I think it like may have blown into the house. And I was just like, oh yeah, probably, most likely.
Oh yeah.
And then so I went back up into my room, and my mom wasn't coming home for at least a couple hours, so I was like, I could take a couple puffs out of my bowl. I'll just blow it out the window, turn my fan on. And I was cleaning out my bowl after I smoked a bit, and my door... So I didn't have a door that like a knob and it turns. I had a sliding door. My door slides open, and my younger sister is standing there in the doorway, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm standing there, bowl in hand, like out the window, kind of just like in like a comedic fashion, just like it's something you'd see out of a movie. Just slowly, like have the evidence in my hand, slowly turn, look at her. Realize what I've done, and I'm just like, you know, when you fuck up so bad and someone asks you what you're doing and they kind of just have you at checkmate and you can't say anything.
No, you're just standing there like, There's absolutely not one thing that I can say to get out of this situation.
That was basically me at that point. So what she ended up doing, I'm pretty sure I went something like, just like mental overload of like, what the fuck do I do? I'm dead. This is the day that Satan comes for my soul.
Oh my God.
And so my sister, my older brother and my youngest sister are home at that point, and they all go downstairs and they wait for my mom to come home so they can tell her that I was smoking in my room.
That's fucked up.
It's really fucked up. But
damn, there's no sibling loyalty.
none whatsoever. But honestly, we used to be at each other's throats all the time.
That's valid.
So I still see hints of it when I go back. Not with me. They love me, mostly because I don't live with her anymore. But I mean, I'm making it sound like they're awful people. They're not. Like, I love my brother and my sisters. I love my family. Yeah, they waited, and then I remember. This is so funny. I remember my mom came home. I remember hearing her come in, and then I heard like mumbling with my sisters, and then I just hear my mom. She's like, "Yeah, I know, I can smell it," and like no amount of Febreze can. If you're smoking that good shit, no amount of Febreze can hide that.
That dankness. There's nothing you can do.
So she comes upstairs. I hear the footsteps coming down the hall.
Oh my God. I would have shat myself with each step.
I'm sitting. I'm pretty sure I was sitting there sweating bullets, and my mom opens my door, and I like look up at her, and before she could say anything, I look up at her and say, "Mom, we got to talk." And I think it's just I think it's just funny that it's just like that's something she should say, not something
like,
I should
"Hey,
be
Mom."
saying. Hey, Mom, we got to talk. And she's like, yeah, Darryl, we do. And then she was like, what were you doing in here? I was like, I was smoking. And she was like, smoking what? I was like, marijuana. And she was like, so, all right, where is it? And I was just like, I kind of lied. I kind of wanted to keep the bowl because it was a really nice bowl.
Yeah,
it was a really nice looking bowl. And it came in like a nice like velvet plush package.
Oh my God.
That I could carry around with me. And I'm pretty sure it's still in my room at my parents' place somewhere. Mom and Dad, don't listen to this.
Just a full disclaimer. Mom, Dad, if you're listening to this, I love you, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah, same. And I remember I like lied. I was just like, it was a joint. And then she was just like, she's like, where is it? I'm like, I threw it out the window. She's like, go out and get it. And then I walked outside and like just stood out in the cold, just like, fuck, my life is over. My life is over. My life is over. I'm making it worse. Why did I lie about it? And I like I think I even like looked around. I had a lighter in my pocket and I like looked around for like a leaf that you ever see a leaf that's kind of like rolled up like a blunt?
Yes.
And I was like looking for that.
You genius.
And I was yeah, I was a crafty little fucker. So I'm like looking around for this thing, and I'm just like, I can't find one that looks like it. So I went inside, and I was just like, Mom, I can't find it.
Mom, oh my God, I don't know. It's the wind.
Yeah. You ever have the wind just blow your weed away? It's heartbreaking. Let me tell you.
Truly.
So I think she sent me to my room, and she was like, leave your door open for the rest of the night. I'm gonna talk to your dad when he gets home.
Oh, no.
And she didn't take my phone away.
That's good.
So I immediately texted my best friend, and I was just like, hey, can you come pick me up and bring me to work tomorrow? And also, I might need to stay at your place for a couple days. I was honestly thinking that my parents were going to kick me out, so I was just like, well, if they're going to kick me out, why don't I just do it for them?
Dude.
I was 20-year-old me was totally prepared to be homeless.
Oh, no.
For a while. They approached me about it about a week later, and my mom sat me down at the table, and she was like, tell your dad what we found out in your room the other day. And I told him that I had smoked, and he was kind of just, I don't remember what his response was.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of just like, my dad's always been kind of like the quiet, like mild-mannered kind of person. He's just like,
That is not my dad.
No, my dad has gotten angry. I've seen my dad yell. He's very scary when he yells. But haven't seen it in a long time. But that's very zen now. His chakras have aligned.
He has aligned the fuck out of his chakras.
Like he has them like bracketed and just all in order. Same with my mom too. You know, and it's like it turned out to be, I was playing it out in my head to be like the worst situation possible, when in reality it was a really calm conversation until I mentioned to my mom. She was just like, do you know how dangerous it is to how dangerous marijuana is? I'm just like, nobody's ever died from marijuana. And she was like, you want to fact check me on that? And then I was just like, I could go into so many things right now, but I'm not going to because I'm already in trouble.
Yeah.
And my uncle is a cop. So she also used that. She was like, do you want your uncle to, you know, talk to you about it? Because he's got plenty of stories.
Oh my God.
He's got plenty of stories. Never talked to him about it. I don't think anybody else in my family ever found out. To this day, I still partake in the greenery.
As do I. And my parents fully know about it. And
yeah,
they're good with it.
I don't think my parents fully know. I know that every single time I leave the house after visiting, my mom always goes, make good choices, Darryl.
Oh my God, my mom says that all the time. She's like, make good choices.
Disclaimer, I love my parents.
Same.
I understand why they were upset about it.
Yeah.
Don't smoke. If they're not okay with it and they don't know about it, do not hide weed at your parents' place.
No.
It could end badly.
Very.
For me, it was a situation where it could have gone one way, but it went another way.
Yes,
That
I
doesn't
agree.
necessarily mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that your parents will take it with a certain calmness or whatever. They might kick you out of their house.
Yeah,
Every
everybody
parent's
reacts
different.
differently. Yeah.
And also, just a word of advice, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, marijuana is bad for you. Don't do it. You know, I mean, obviously, if you're young, your brain's still developing, but you should learn. If you're going to experiment, you should do it safely and you should learn how to. And we're not here to tell you how to do that.
No, not at all. This is not Drug 101.
No, absolutely not. But I think that the more people try to shove it down your throat that drinking is bad, you know, marijuana is bad, you know, drugs are bad. Certain drugs are bad. Certain drugs are very, very bad.
Definitely. I personally wouldn't even classify weed as a drug. It's a
No,
plant.
Right.
It makes you feel good.
Right. And for some people, I know some people who have smoked weed or have had edibles first couple times and they never want to touch the stuff again.
Oh yeah, people have very bad reactions to it. I don't think that's my story to share, actually. So never mind. Keep going.
No, okay, that's fine. That is totally fine. Like I said, we're not here to tell you what to do, but if you are ever going to, you know, try weed, do it in a safe location. Make sure it's with somebody that you trust.
Yes.
Because, you know, it is a mind-altering drug.
It is.
Or mind-altering substance. So just be careful. So I guess to close out this episode of the podcast, the very first episode, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You get an edible. No, I'm just kidding. You get a trophy. I'm just kidding. You get nothing. You get a merit badge for making it this far into the very first podcast.
A participation badge.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. I think right now what we also want to do is, and we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. We're not always going to talk about weed. We're not always going to talk about like politics or like times we got in trouble. But what I would like to close out on is something that you and I are both passionate about, and that is music.
Oh, buddy. It's music to my ears. Anyway.
What the fuck was that? The gremlin in you came out, the goblin. Can you for just real quick give me like your best goblin laugh? Love it.
That was gross.
Okay, so Brianna, what have you been listening to this week?
Ooh, baby. So let me pull up my Spotify.
Yes.
I got you.
Also, guys, the music that we recommend on this podcast is not only recommended for us, but it's also for you guys. And every song that we talk about on the podcast, I think we should make a playlist on Spotify that you guys can follow so that you guys can hear what we're talking about.
Definitely. That's a fantastic idea.
Can we make that on our Spotify? Like, you're going to be in charge of posting the podcast to Spotify, right?
Okay.
It's like we're deciding this now. Because I don't know how to upload stuff to Spotify. I mean, I'm definitely going to want to learn.
Yeah, there's a website that we can like go over after this if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, would we be able to? Should we make like a separate?
That's what I was thinking. Like have the Gmail connected to that one, and then it could just be called like Daydream Arcade.
Okay. I mean, like when we make a playlist for like the stuff on the show, should we make it like on the Daydream Arcade account?
I think so. I think that would be good because it could all be in one thing. Like if they want to listen to episodes, they go to Daydream Arcade. They want to like look at the playlist, go to Daydream Arcade. So it's all in one thing and it's easy to find. All
under one umbrella. Okay, that makes sense. Yes. I'm trying to overcomplicate things, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. What have you been listening to, my dear?
So, I was playing Clone Hero the other day. And with Clone Hero, I usually just go on this website where you can like search specific artists or songs that you want to download and you can play. But there's also like different like packs where it's like random music. So I like to go through those different packs and find shit that I haven't listened to, and so I can find new music. So one band that I discovered on Clone Hero, they're called Veil of Maya. They're really good. They are more hardcore, I guess, like screaming wise and like just heavy metal. But they have this one album that I have just not been able to stop listening to. So
it's called Veil of Maya?
Veil of Maya, yeah.
Okay.
It's called Matriarch, and every song on this album is named after a woman in, whether it be like just pop culture in general, so like video games, movies, TV shows, like it's just like female driven, you know? So
yes.
we stand females here. So there is a song called Ellie, which is really good, and it's based off of Ellie from The Last of Us.
Ooh.
Yeah, and there's Eris. That's another one. It's from Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And then we have Daenerys as well.
I'm assuming from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay.
So those three songs I've been listening to a lot because I think those are my favorite songs from them. And also Dance Gavin Dance. I've been listening a lot to them too.
You know, a lot of people have asked me if I listen to Dance Gavin Dance, and I've actually never heard a song by them.
Dude, honestly, they are really good. I saw them live once.
Really?
Yes. With, oh my god, who were they opening for? Or no, they weren't opening for. It was literally their fucking thing. So, stupid.
They're too big to be an opening act. Fuck that.
I'm a fucking idiot. So, yeah, it was their concert. And Polyphia actually opened for them. And that was incredible. Because we were
I've never heard of them either.
Yeah, so they are mostly instrumental music. So there's no really, like, singing. So,
okay.
But, like, the guitar is beautiful, bro. Like, the way that they can make you feel so many different emotions without even having a single word in their song, like, that speaks volumes.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of a band that I've been listening to a lot lately called, I think the correct pronunciation is Wintergarten. Wintergarten. I can send you a link. There's a music video that they did. It's like all instrumental, but the cool thing about them is that there's instruments that they play that they make by hand. Like there's like a marble machine that makes music. There's another thing where they use this projector as kind of like a background beat.
Okay.
And then there's also this other machine in the particular song that I'm going to send you. And we'll also post it on the Spotify playlist. Is they go through like this computer and like electronically place holes in certain spots on this like rolling film of paper, and they feed it through. And when they feed it through, it makes this kind of like music box sort of sound, and they just like slowly crank it, and like it just plays this melody as it goes along. It's really cool.
That sounds really cool. I'm excited to listen to that.
Anything else you've been listening to?
I was obsessed for a while. Ooh, excuse me. I'm a little gassy.
Yeah, that's okay. We're all gassy. Don't get older, kids. You get gassier as you age.
Literally. So, Wolf Totem by The Who. When you played that. When you played that on stream, I was literally like, this sounds fucking awesome. And so I found the version with the dude from Papa Roach. And it's really fucking good. So I have that in my like songs, and whenever I go for a drive, that's usually one of the first songs I play, and I just blast it.
Beautiful. That's such an awesome song. Yeah, like, I even said it on stream. I was like, imagine going to war with...
Dude, that's the perfect song.
Yeah. Like, imagine like being on the other side, being on the opposing side, and you hear the drums in the distance, and you just see thousands of these Mongolian warriors just doing this like throat singing, and they are coming to murder your ass.
Like, can we talk about...
Not in the good way.
Yeah. Can we talk about how crazy Mongolian throat singing is?
Like, I can't even wrap my mind around it.
Dude, the talent that they literally sound like human didgeridoos.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's so fucking cool.
I was watching this video of some vocal teacher watching that music video of Wolf Totem. And she was like, how do you do that?
Dude, like, it's crazy.
She even tried it herself, and she's like, I can't do it.
They literally just vibrate.
Yeah. I think it's just a Mongolian thing. It's got to just be a Mongolian thing.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
So, Darryl, what have you been listening to?
I am so glad you asked. I have been listening to a variety of things. First, I would like to say that there is a band that my good friend Dylan introduced me to lately. It is a band called Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. That
is a name.
It is quite a name. And I will drop this music video into our Discord right now. Okay. They just released this music video on November 5th. Have you ever seen those trolley commercials? It's like... You know what trolleys are? No. Like the like sour gummy worms?
Oh, yeah. I just blacked out for a sec.
That's okay. Also happens when you get older, guys.
It do.
Like, I don't know if any of you have seen the trolley commercial, but it's basically like it's like this claymation looking kind of style, and it's really trippy, and there's this like tree that has like the trolley gummy worms crawling out of his eyes. I got gassy there for a second. And it's really like this psychedelic trippy kind of vibe. If you guys want a good song to listen to, this is their latest release. It's called Tally Ho by Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. You cannot forget a name like Psychedelic Porn Crumpets.
Not at all.
Once again, Tally Ho, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. And I've also been listening just today. They have an amazing 2-part album. First one came out in 2016 called High Visceral. And then the second one is High Visceral Part 2. The best way to describe their sound, it's like a prog rock with like a lot of like garage band vibes.
Okay.
They have a very like exploratory sound that's very complex sonically, but it's so good. They're a really good band. I definitely recommend that you check them out. It's not like screaming or anything like that. It's honestly perfect. If I were to just put it together, I would just say garage band prog rock is psychedelic porn crumpets. I have also been listening to The Midnights a lot lately.
Ooh, they were your intro song, right?
Yes, I use their song Vampires.
Okay.
Right now with the whole DMCA shit, I've only been using what I love about them is they have their albums, but then they also release an instrumental version of their albums. Oh. And they also, when this whole DMCA shitstorm started, several months ago, not just like the crazy shit that's been happening the last couple weeks, but they made a statement saying, and I know that like it's a little hit or miss here because, it's kind of been unpredictable what the DMCA stuff has been doing on Twitch, but they made an announcement saying that you can use their music without worry of getting like a copyright strike or anything like that. I don't know how it works on platforms like YouTube or wherever else, but right now, so far, I haven't gotten caught. DMCA hasn't really I don't know if they're necessarily targeting bigger streamers or if they're targeting everybody. I think number one, everybody should be safe. No matter how small your channel is, whether you have 1 million followers or if you have 1 follower, I think you should be very careful. I know when I do drum streams, a lot of the music in the VOD gets muted as a way to protect you from DMCA strikes. I have been looking at my folder, my email folder, at my Young Retro email, just every single time I stream to make sure, even a couple days later that I'm not getting any emails from DMCA. Because I used to post snippets of my drum streams of maybe a song, like a bit that I nailed that I'm just like really proud of, and I'll post it on Twitter, and then 6 months later I'll get a DMCA strike. I almost got my Twitter account taken down a couple months ago. I didn't make a big stink about it. I was kind of just like, okay, be careful. But I almost got my Twitter taken down because of some... It was Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You," and I'm just like, it's fucking July. Why am I getting a DMCA strike for this now?
I still don't understand why DMCA is a thing, because we're not claiming to be like, hey, we made these songs, by the way. These are our songs.
Right.
If we're playing fucking Ariana Grande, it's kind of obvious that we're not Ariana Grande. What's the problem here? And we're literally sharing the music with other people that may not have listened to that kind of music, Right.
Which is why I think it's scary, especially if you don't understand the ins and outs of the music industry, or if you don't work in the music industry, you don't know how this works. Yeah. I feel like right now, especially with the DMCA strikes on Twitch, none of us really know what's going on.
No, every time I load up Clone Hero or Rock Band, I'm like, oh my god, is this gonna be my last stream ever?
Have you been streaming that lately?
I did stream Clone Hero for a bit the other day.
Did any portions of your VOD get muted?
I have not checked, but okay. I will. And they probably did get muted.
Okay. But back to the Midnight, I've been so for the last month in October, I didn't use any of the Midnight's music or Harris Heller's stream beats. Yeah. Because he has a synthwave, retrowave kind of track, and he's soon going to be releasing a rock one. I've heard.
Oh yeah, Vix actually told me the other day when I was in her stream that he had synthwave, he had EDM, he had hip hop and lo-fi, and I was like, what? I thought all he had was lo-fi.
He has a lo-fi Christmas album out right now that just came out the other day.
I saw that.
Yeah. I was streaming Stardew Valley the other day, and that was the background music for my stream.
I remember hearing jingle bells, and I was like, "What the fuck is this guy playing right now?"
I remember Kat called me out on it too. She was just like, "Sir, is this Christmas music?" And I'm just like, "Oh no, sorry, nope, it is not." Oh man. Tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, when we discuss Christmas music, acceptable immediately after Halloween or the week after Thanksgiving. Find out. But I've been listening to the Midnight again. I've always loved their music. If there's a song that you guys should check out, it's Vampires. I'm like kind of biased because that's kind of been what I open my streams with, but there's this beautiful saxophone solo through basically it's so good. Yeah, it's so catchy. And there's this guy, Johnny Crane on sax is his YouTube channel. I'll post it here as well. We can listen to it after if you like. It's like so good. It's so beautiful. It's like he plays the instrumental, and not only does he do the sax solo, he plays over the melody, like for the vocals during the verses as well.
Wow.
It's so good. It's so beautiful. One last thing that I have been listening to is the Nirvana Unplugged album.
That's a good album.
I tend to find myself going back to listen to that every once in a while, and every single track off of that album is just incredible. You know, I think the one thing that makes that album really stand out, or that whole performance stand out, is that Nirvana barely played any of their big hits. Like they played a couple. They played like "Come As You Are," "All Apologies," Polly, but then a lot of stuff they played that was like not even from like their mainstream, like what everyone was really listening to at the time. Like About a Girl, Where Did You Sleep Last Night, Lake of Fire, like all these songs from like early albums. And also, if you guys have not heard Where Did You Sleep Last Night, it is a very powerful performance, and I think everyone should listen to it. I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thank you very much. If you've made it all the way to the end of the podcast, congratulations. Definitely. You get a second participation trophy.
And you get our love.
And you get our love. Most importantly, you get our love. So thank you guys so much for listening. Seriously, I hope you guys really enjoy. This is a project that we're both really passionate about, and we're going to keep delivering new episodes to you every Friday. You can find it on SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. Let us know what you're listening to it on, by the way, so we can...
dude. Send us those emails. Fucking
yes.
Tweet at us. Like, we want to learn about more music. I can fucking listen to music the rest of my life.
We want to listen to new music. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know. Even if you have like a critique or something, be like, I don't know, say, you guys say or like a lot, and or just whatever. Just don't be too harsh.
Don't be too harsh. I'm sensitive.
Send us questions. Send us stories.
Anything you guys feel like sharing with us, and that you don't mind being talked about on this podcast, let us know.
Absolutely. So thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next Friday.
If you guys want to follow our social media, Daydream Arcade is our Twitter, and The Daydream Arcade is our Instagram. So
yes.
follow those.
Bye-bye.